she knows.
Anyone else see that connection?
Like, I'm tearing up right now.
I've been in the middle of the Throne of Glass series for like 2 years now. I read all the way up to Tower of Dawn and didn't read the final book in the series because I've been disconnected from the series for so long. We are doing a reread, and this video is going to be a spoiler-filled reread of Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. This is the second book in the Throne of Glass series. I'm doing the reread where you put Assassin's Blade after this one. The first time I read it, I did the other reading order where you put the Assassin's Blade first, and now I'm going to change it up and do the second reading order and do the tandem read. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We are only on Crown of Midnight. This morning I started Crown of Midnight, which you'll see after this, but I have the audiobook for this and I'm going to be listening to it throughout the next 4 days. We are going to be going through all my spoiler-filled thoughts, and this is such a well-loved series, so I thought I'd document my reading journey with it. Look how cute my nails match. First of all, I painted my nails yesterday and accidentally didn't realize how well they match the cover of this book, and it's adorable and I love it. My name is Reagan. Welcome to today's video. I normally do book content and today's another book video. Subscribe if you want to keep watching my journey with the Throne of Glass series or any other book videos that I tend to post. I hope you'll stick around. And anyways, this is my Throne of Glass episode 2 reread video. So let's get right into the reading vlog. I've just gotten to page 50 of Crown of Midnight. We're making some progress here. Everything else before this chapter I just got to was kind of like setting up the beginning of the book. We saw her, some people, or quotation marks, people for the king, and her hanging out with Chaol and all that stuff. But I just got to the chapter where she goes and visits Elena in the tomb for the first time in this book, and she meets Mort on the door, the little door knocker. I forgot about him. I'm still like confused about him, but he said some really important things about magic. I think she was basically like, what are you, like magic doesn't exist, and he's like, everything in this world is magic. And then she was like, but magic doesn't work anymore, and he was like, new magic doesn't, but the king cannot erase old spells, old powers, like the word marks. And there's also a lot of allusions to the Assassin's Blade. This reading order that I'm doing right now is probably the best one because it's also Sarah J. Maas's like proposed and favorite reading order because of all the allusions in this book to the events of the Assassin's Blade. Yes, it alludes to some events in Throne of Glass, the first book, but not as heavily as this. Hearing about all the events of her past and then learning about them in the next book is what emotionally hits the hardest for a reading order. It's things that you're not meant to know yet. I'm on page 55 and I'm going to try and get to page 100 reading right now, and then I'm going to take a break and do some editing. It's only 400 pages, so if I could get to page 200 today, that would be great, but I also have to go vote today, so we'll see. I just got to page 100 and I'm gonna take a break for now, but we're getting to some of the parts that have the action in them. Like, we just saw Selena go to the masquerade ball with Archer to get some info on her target. She got poisoned and ran back to Chaol. Of course she ran back to Chaol. We keep getting a lot of hints to Terrasen and the rebel movement wanting Terrasen's heir to come back and all that stuff, really leading up to the next book. A lot of hints about Elena's past and a lot of hints about other countries and other places in this world. I'm gonna take a break, do some editing, get dressed for the day, that kind of stuff. I know I'm literally wearing the same clothes as earlier and I haven't moved spots, but I promise it's like probably 12 hours later. I'm now on page 164. It's really good so far. I think I'm liking the series. When I read it for the first time, I was kind of missing that emotional connection to the series that everyone else has, and I am hoping that the second read through will get me to have that like emotional connection. I really like Selena as a character, and her and Chaol's relationship in this is super cute. I can't wait to get to Airfire again. I'm just waiting for that. I talked about this earlier, but there are so many references in this book specifically to Celaena's past and Terrasen and all these things that I'm so excited to get to Airfire, first of all, and read The Assassin's Blade. Celaena just had a dream about the stag, and she also just went to Elena's tomb to put her little amulet, her eye amulet, into the eye in the wall, and she's trying to like solve that riddle. Pretty sure that this is the one where Nehemia dies at the end. I'm pretty sure they've been like alluding to her death a little bit. Thought that happened in the first book when I reread the first book, but I was wrong. Also, when she's talking about the stag in her dream, it goes, it had been on a chill night like this that she'd spotted him, she calls the stag a him, through the bars of her prison wagon on the way to Endovier, a glimmer of the world before it was burned to ash. I don't remember, I know the stag has something to do with Terrasen, I don't remember like where that kind of fits in. I'm liking the action, I'm liking her like having to sneak around and stuff. I'm liking the vibes. I am liking the vibes. I miss reading fantasy. I should read fantasy more often. Page 196. The world building is getting like way more expansive in this book than in the first book, which obviously because it's a fantasy series, so it develops throughout. We're learning a lot more about the Fae and the witches and the Vogue and magic. We were just at the scene where Dorian goes to talk to Baba Yellowlegs about his returning powers that he has. I don't think I've talked to you about that yet, but Dorian's powers have returned. He punched a wall. I forgot that he had powers, I'm gonna be honest. He went to the witch to like question her about magic. He asked, is magic truly gone? And she said, your kind of magic is gone, yes, but there are other forgotten powers that work. She's traveled from one shore of this continent to the other, across every mountain and into the dark, shadowy places where men still fear to tread. There is no magic left anymore. Even the surviving Fae can't access their power. Some of them still remain trapped in their animal forms. And then he was like, hypothetically, if someone like developed powers, why would that happen? And she said, so that's the real question. Why did magic vanish only here and not across the whole of Aurelia? What crimes did we commit to make the gods curse us like that, to take away what they had once given us? Then she goes, hypothetically, if someone had magic and wanted to learn why, I'd start figuring out why magic left in the first place. Maybe that would explain how there could be an exception to the rule. Magic is talked about kind of, at least in this beginning part of the series, it's talked about as it's like an entity or a person. It's like personified in the book, which really makes it feel more magical. That's where I'm at. I haven't really been talking about Dorian a lot. I like Dorian. The way that the audiobook is reading his voice is kind of making me upset because I'm like, I picture his voice as way deeper and him being a little more broody. The way that the audiobook portrays him is kind of like a flippant, obnoxiously charming kind of in a way, and I just picture him as more of a broody guy. This is the last book that my library has on audio for the series, so the rest of the series I'm going to be reading physically. I just got to page 206 and things are getting heated. Celaena and Nehemia just got into their fight. Nehemia says, well, first of all, she says, I need to be here. There are things that I need to do here in this castle and in the city, but I cannot abandon my people to another massacre. I don't know to what she is referring to, but that I underlined because I thought that it sounded suspicious. I also underlined the part that says, so what will you be a part of? Celaena. Celaena is in italics right there, and I wrote, she knows. I think it's the end of this book, low-key. We find out a big secret about our main character. I think Nehemia knows a secret. Later in the fight, Celaena goes, I am one person, and Nehemia goes, one person chosen by Queen Elena, one person whose brow burned with the sacred mark on the day of the duel, one person who, despite the odds, is still breathing. Hint, hint. Our path crossed for a reason. If you are not God's blessed, then who is? Nehemia knows, dude. How did I not know that Nehemia knows? She knows. And then she dies. So what? I'm gonna keep reading. I forgot how early this happened. This book is getting good. Like, it's pulling emotions out of me. Like, I'm tearing up right now. I was just talking about how I wanted an emotional connection to it, and it's happening. The rebels have just captured Chaol. And this is when I think, if I'm wrong, Reagan, bleep out my mouth. I think this is when she meets. But we still have 200 pages in the book, so I'm like, this reveal, how is this going to work? I'm very tempted to go read the last page right now. She's about to go kick some rebel to get Chaol back. If they want Otterland's assassin, they'd get her, and word helped them when she arrived. Okay, I see you, girl. We're back into the book. Right, so I was right and wrong about a few different things. Nehemia did die. I wasn't very attached to her because I knew she died when I started the series. Very sad. She didn't get a lot of screen time, so I wasn't like attached. We didn't meet yet, but I think that is more towards the end of the book, even though I thought that these two events happened together. Now, I don't remember where the book goes from here. The only thing I remembered about this book was that Nehemia died, so after this point, I am clueless. Just got into page 243. I forgot that the reason why Chaol and Celaena have their little falling out was because of Nehemia's death. Nehemia was kind of just a plot device, basically. Like, her entire point was to die to motivate Celaena to like take her rightful place kind of deal. She attacked Chaol, and then they put her in a cell because obviously you can't attack the captain of the guard. She keeps thinking how Nehemia called her a coward, and like this is gonna be her hero awakening. I am stopping for the night, and I've gotten to page 318, so that means I have 100 pages exactly left, and I'm planning on finishing them tomorrow morning. I literally have spent this entire block in my bed. Closing thoughts for the night. There has been so many allusions to Terrasen, the noble lines in Terrasen, the stag, so many different things. And going back through with this book, and like I'm underlining all of them, even like little comments that people make. She comes back from Baba Yellowlegs. I always want to call her Baba Yaga. She goes to Elena's tomb and she's talking to Mort, and he goes, "Witch Slayer are you?" Another lovely title to add to your repertoire. Even like that little comment hints at more than just her title as an assassin, as the King's Champion. It hints to more than that, and going back through and seeing all those little hints to that is so cool, because the first book didn't have that many. Just all the little like foreshadowing moments and stuff like that is so fun to read. There's a whole section that I underlined, like this entire page that I annotated, that is referring to like the riddle that she got from finally figuring out the Eye of Elena riddle thing. The word governs and forms the foundations of this world, not just Aurelia, but all life. There are worlds that exist beyond your knowledge, worlds that lie on top of each other and don't know it. Right now, you could be standing on the bottom of someone else's ocean. The word keeps these realms apart. But long ago, before the humans overran this miserable world, a different sort of evil broke through the gates, the Vow. Demons from another realm bent on the conquest of Aurelia, and with a force of an endless army behind them. In Windland, they fought against the Fae. Try as the immortal children might, they could not defeat them. Are the Volg the Asteri? Anyone else see that connection? Is this a known thing? Am I dumb? But basically that whole entire section that Baba Yellowlegs was talking about, I was like, oh, this sounds familiar. Crescent City. Good morning. It's time to finish this book. I'm on page 334. Celaena, she's entered the clock tower through the library, and she's kind of just figured out that the clock tower is potentially a word key. I'm stressed because it's the last 100 pages of this book, so I'm stressed. It's only a few pages later. Celaena knew Dorian had magic. She guessed. She didn't tell us, but she guessed. And they're fighting the creature. What is it? I don't remember. Does the secret come out in this book? I cannot, for the life of me, remember if it does or not. And I've just been saying that this whole time, and I'm gonna have to bleep it out because I did do that for the last book too. I'm on page 356, and we've figured out that the king probably has 2 ward keys and is using them to stifle magic. I did look at the last page of the book to make sure that the secret came out, and this one just to make sure I hadn't been saying something crazy the whole time, and I was right. 60 more pages left in the book. It's so good. I'll go to the bathroom real quick, and then I'm gonna come sit here and I'm gonna finish this freaking book. So she's Fae. I didn't know that she was Fae, but I didn't remember how it all came about. On page 379, she jumped through the portal after Chaol and Fleetfoot, and when she saw Chaol shielding Fleetfoot with nothing but his bare hands, his discarded sword snapped in two by the demon who hovered over them, she didn't think twice before she unleashed the monster inside herself. Okay, this is the part in the series where you get connected, I feel. And we get the reveal at the end of this book, but then you have to read The Assassin's Blade. That is why this reading order is so emotional and such emotional torture, because the reveal at the end of this is so big and you want to read The Assassin's Blade to get to the next one. Oh my god. I forgot about the epic battle scene coming up between Archer and Selena. I'm on page 386, and basically they just closed the portal. Chaol found out Selena was Fae, and he found out that Dorian has magical blood, at least. Chaol stepped into her path. Don't you even think, panting, she sheathed Damaris. He's mine. Before Chaol could grab her, she hurtled down the stairs. And they're about to go fight, because she's about to him. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word on YouTube. I'm on page 408, so I have 10 pages left in this book. She went to Nehemia's grave to say goodbye because Chaol proposed she has to leave for Wendlyn, and she says, I want you to know that you were right. You were right. I am a coward, and I have been running for so long that I have forgotten what it is to stand and fight. But I promise that I will stop him. I promise that I will never forgive and never forget what they did. I promise I will free Elwë. I promise I will see that your father's crown is restored to his head. I promise on my name and on my life, if it takes until my last breath, I promise I will see Elwë read. Never forgive and never forget, because it was time. I have 10 pages left. I'm okay. I am okay. I am okay. I'm doing fine. This is the last chapter of Crown of Midnight. Here we go. Oh my god. That's what she told Chaol. Dorian helping with his clue, the genealogy books. He's getting there. He is getting there. Last page. Last freaking page. Selena Sardothian was Aelin Ashriver Galathinius, heir to the throne and rightful queen of Terrasen. Holy shit. The ending, I will say, does have more when you've never read it before. Now I'm gonna go back and listen to the last chapter on audio. Now I remember why Throne of Glass was so fun. Hey, queens. I know you literally just saw me. Basically, I did in fact finish Crown of Midnight this morning. As you know, since this is the Crown of Midnight vlog, this is going to be the end of the video. Let's do a little recap. The secret is out in this one. We have our lost Queen of Terrasen. She's been revealed. Her and Chaol's relationship is through. We have this cute little friendship with Dorian. We got some more world building in this book. A lot about the witches, Fae, and the history of magic. How the king has gotten his power through the word keys. There was a lot of information in this one, and I think the info dump was done in a very manageable way. In the past, I had rated this one 5 stars. I think I'm going to be rating this a 4.5. It didn't give me that like 5-star feel. I definitely got giddy. There was a lot of reactions. Out of all the books in the series, I don't think this is going to be the one that I think about the most often and think about like the plot of, because I'll think about the last 100 pages quite often, but
the rest of the book, that whole plot line, I probably won't think about it as often because this is like the turning point in the series. I think the next few books have a potential to reach a 5, but we aren't there yet. I had so much fun reading this. I can see myself getting very attached to the series in the future. I'm not there yet, but going back through it and reading it and seeing all the things that like alluded to Terrasen, alluded to Selena's ancestry, or I guess we can call her Aelin now because the secret is out. There's just so many little parts that hinted at it that I didn't get the first time because I didn't know the secret. And hopefully by the end of the month, you guys will get an Assassin's Blade reading vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I can't wait till we get to Kingdom of Ash, and the reading vlog is gonna be like an hour long because there's so much to talk about. My socials are linked down below if you'd like to follow me there. I would love to talk to you. Please like, comment, subscribe. Seriously, comment. Whenever I see I get a comment from one of you guys, it like literally makes my day. All the love. I will see you in the next one.